All right, time to get started. Thanks to you have joined us live for the first Focus on program of 2026. And thank you to those of you who are watching on YouTube. Today we have Leilani Wilson from the Kingman Carnegie Library. Leilani, thanks for being here. Would you introduce yourself for our folks who are here and the folks who are listening here in the future?
Of course. Um, as you said, my name is Leilani Wilson, but normally I go by Lonnie. It's a little less complicated for people to remember. I have been working in libraries for a little over 6 years now. Um, Only been director here at Kingman for a little over a year. Um, I started out in Harper, which is just a town down the road. Um, when I turned 18, they gave me a job because I had been volunteering there for quite a while and just moved my way on up from there. So,
Nice. So you've been in libraries for pretty much your adult life then, starting into your teen years and probably even before.
yes, I was the kid that would have the book in the corner of the classroom, reading, not paying attention, and spending lunches in the libraries. So,
Nice. Sure,
yeah.
your librarians loved you. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about Kingman. I know this isn't necessarily your home community, but it is the community you're serving. What have you learned about Kingman? What can you share with us? Where is it at?
So Wichita would probably be the closest big city that most people know of. We're almost directly west of Wichita, about 45 minutes or so. Um, the community has about 3,000 people in it, which is bigger than I'm used to, but still pretty small compared to a lot of other Kansas towns. And I don't know a lot of the history or anything about Kingman, but I've been learning a lot about the people, and they are wonderful. We receive so much support from them. So it's very nice to be welcomed like they have.
Absolutely. I'm sure it'd be a little scary, having worked in library with your home library and then picking up the director mantle in a town, even if it is still a Kansas town, it's not necessarily where you've grown up. So
Yeah,
I'm sure you're looking forward to continuing to meet folks and bringing them to the library and learning a little bit more about the community.
yeah.
I'll move on slides here because this is a Carnegie building. And it seems to be quite large and I know it had an extension at some point. What do you know about that? And also, what can you tell us about just how your library operates, hours, how many staff members, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the building itself was built in 1914. So last year we actually got to have a 111th birthday party for the library, all Hobbit themed. It was so much fun.
I
Um,
saw those photos. I didn't know that's what it was from. They look really neat.
yep, yep. You're right. The back portion of the building is an extension. It's still pretty old, but of course newer than 111 years. And the stairs at the front of the library used to be just all straight down, so those were renovated to split later as well. Um, our bottom floor is mainly our children's section, and then the upper floor is the adult section and main circulation area. And we're open 9 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 to 2 on Saturdays.
Yeah, I was noticing that. That is a pretty big schedule. That's a lot of open hours for a town of 3,000. And I don't know if you mentioned how many staffers and volunteers are you
Um,
working with there all
there are
those days
five
a
staff
week?
members.
So, okay.
Yeah. We try and have two people in the library at a time to cover both levels, but lunch breaks and sickness and all sorts of things kind of
Yeah,
throw that up in the air some days.
for sure. Well, we can move on to kind of the interior. And I know I
Hmm.
have at least one follow-up question. Here's just a sampling of some different areas of the library, and feel free to point out what we're looking at or just kind of give us a layout, and we'll use our imagination.
Yeah, the top three photos are all of our children's area. Same with the bottom left one. Um, and
Hey,
the
so
corner,
sorry, Dan and Lonnie, we are not seeing slides.
You're not.
We're not.
oh,
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but yeah, we're
Is
not seeing.
anybody seeing slides? Because I'm showing that they're being shared. No? Okay.
Oh, well, somebody else is seeing them. Okay, never mind.
All
Sorry.
righty.
It's my bad.
That's okay. I'd rather us try to test it out than find out. Okay. Go ahead, Leilani. You were saying about the children's section.
yeah. And then the photo with the tall stools and the graphic novel shelves, we kind of made that like our teen corner. They're still downstairs in the children's area, but they kind of have their own section of
Mm-hmm.
it. And then the other two photos on the bottom row are of our meeting room. It's not very big, but we run programs in there when we can. And if we can't use that space, we use a local church that has offered their fellowship hall, or the movie theater sometimes has uh, days free and will let us use their space.
Very cool. And then let's talk a little bit about programs. And it seems like you guys do all kinds of things.
Yes, especially my youth services director. She is amazing about coming up with programs for the kids and letting them just have an absolute ball. Um, the very first photo, with the focus on with all of us librarians on there, she actually has rainbow hair in it because the kids made their summer reading goal. And so she had rainbow hair for over a month. Uh,
I saw the rainbow hair from the color run photo.
yep, yep. But we have a lot of people in our community who will help us run programs. Like the watercolor class and printmaking class are with the Rural Muse, which is a local art gallery here in Kingman. Someone comes in and runs Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and stuff. And so we have a lot of outside help with our programming, or we wouldn't be able to offer quite as much as
Yeah.
we do.
The art programs just seem really great. Just seeing some of the outcomes. I know it's not all about the outcome, but I thought what people made looked really great. So it seems like that art gallery is really giving you um, some great programming opportunities for your patrons.
Yeah. One of the other things we're trying to do is go out into our community instead of expecting all of them to come to us. So we have story times that the local daycares and stuff can request. So we'll go to them for that. And then there's also a middle school book club that we run at the school.
That's great. And are those newer outreach programs, or is that something that you kind of inherited when you took on the directorship?
My youth services director and I both got here about the same
Hmm,
time, and these programs did start after we got here. The middle school book club's been going on since last year, but the request to story time has only happened like the last couple of months. So,
good job. That's great.
yeah, and she's already booked out for the next few months.
That's
So,
that's really cool. It's always interesting to hear about, especially with both of you being kind of new, just the inroads you can make with the community already. So that's really neat. And I think you do have to reach outside the library walls to get those kind of reluctant library users, or maybe they just,
yeah.
they're just unfamiliar. We did have a question from chat. Thanks, chat. Um, So one of our participants is interested in how you guys have been going about recruiting this outside help. So not only to take the lead to run the programs, but just any kind of assistance you can get from it. Um, what's the secret sauce? What are you doing to get people to say yes?
So, we do have a Friends of the Library group, and they know everyone in town. So sometimes we'll be like, hey, do you know someone that knows a lot about gardening or different programs that we want to run? And they'll give us a contact to reach out to. Some of the programs we already had going before we got here, but there's that, or just connections we've made while being in the library. Like we're planning to start a 3D printing class so the kids can learn some STEM stuff to go along with making the fun 3D objects.
Yeah.
And that was a contact we made within the library, just chatting about our little toy box printers that we had. And they one of them was broken, so they offered to help try and fix it, and then got roped into helping us with the program. So
That's great. So you said you have the toy box 3D printers. I've seen those before. Those seem fun as a nice kind of a way to approach kind of
mhm.
beginning 3D printing because it
Yeah.
kind of has a catalog, I believe, of different things you can files you can download that can then be
Yes.
printed.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. The kids can just click and print and go about it. We had two of them, but one of them broke, so we
Hmm.
weren't able to use that. And we've decided to upgrade to a larger 3D printer that can be more involved with STEM and the kids'
Yeah.
learning rather than them just getting to push a button and print something.
Yeah, right. Not to put you on the spot, but do you happen to remember what you're going to start using for 3D printing?
It is a Bamboo Lab A1 Mini.
Okay, very good. Yeah, Bamboo is a pretty popular brand.
Mhm.
I know it was super hard when 3D printers first came out because there were so many different
Yes.
kinds and didn't
Yep.
really know, if they were going to stand the test of time. But I've heard really good things about Bamboo, so that's great
Yeah.
to hear. Do you have some other, I know you've got a lot of these arts and crafts classes for sure and story times, but mentioning the STEM, do you have any other kind of themes or programs that you wrap up into your STEM programs?
Not specifically as of right now. This summer readings theme is about dinosaurs,
Right.
and we're focusing on the more sciencey side of it with getting some museums to do virtual programs and stuff for the kids this year.
Oh, good. I need to
So,
make sure I ask about that when we get to partnerships. That sounds really good.
yeah,
But even some of your craft stuff, like the cricket machine, I'm sure kind of has a little bit of know-how to finesse the
mhm.
machine and get it to do what you want.
Yeah.
I wanted to. I saw one program on the next slide that I just wanted to draw our attention to, and you mentioned that it actually started before you were there, but I just thought I hadn't seen this anywhere else before, the adult spelling bee. So it was a program you inherited, but you were asked to continue it. So you did the second annual, it looks like there in mid-October. There's
Mhm.
prizes. It was sponsored by your friends at the library. What can you tell us about an adult spelling bee? How do you even get adults to put themselves on stage for this?
So I didn't know anything about it until I had patrons coming in during the summer and saying, "Hey, are you guys going to have an adult spelling bee this year?" And then the friends group was like, "Hey, this went great last year. Can we do it again?" And so I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I don't know anything about running a spelling bee, but I can figure it out." So, yeah, we just got spelling bee words from the elementary school.
Okay.
And one of the principals here in town was our MC, so
Nice.
that was fun. And we just had a sign up sheet at the desk and we're advertising on Facebook. We reached out to other places in the community to let them know.
Hmm.
And we had a dozen people sign up in like 2 weeks, I
Wow.
think. So
That seems pretty
it has
good to
just
me.
been, yeah.
So, were the prizes donated? What was enticing these adults to put themselves out there?
The friends group purchased some gift cards to local businesses, like Jerry's is a restaurant here in town that people love. So first place got like a $30 gift certificate to Jerry's. There's a coffee shop that they got gift certificates to, and just local businesses. So,
That's great.
mhm.
Yeah, so we did have a question in chat just about the format, formula, rules, regulations. Uh, do you have anything from that you're going to reuse for next year that you might be able to share out with me, like after we're wrapped up today?
Yeah, I can grab some of my files and send them to you.
Yeah, if you send it to me, then I'll try to wrap them up in our follow-up post, either with
Okay.
the recording or whenever you get them to me. Yeah, I could see why people would be interested in that. Just seems like a really good time. Although, yeah, I would again, I don't think I would stand up in front or sit in front of a group and try to spell because I'm too reliant on spell check
Me too. I have dyslexia, so my I's and A's and E's flip themselves
all
around
over the
all the
place.
time, and so I could not spell in front of people.
Yeah, add that extra pressure. That sounds really rough. Okay, well, hopefully we'll be able to get some of that together. And then I assume you, since it's been a hit, are planning to do it in 2026 again?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do the third annual. Do you know if you've won in previous years, you're allowed to come back and defend your title, or is that part of the regulations? Have you gotten that far yet?
I have not. Anyone that wants to sign up can, so
Okay, so they can
yeah.
continue to be champion.
Hmm.
That's great. Okay, well, let's
Maybe I
move. You've talked a little bit about partnerships. Maybe since you did mention the museum, can you talk a little bit about how you approached them, or did you already have a working relationship with them? How did that go about to talk to the museum for this next coming summer reading?
So, the museum is the Museum of World Treasures in Wichita, and my youth services director actually worked for them when she was in college giving tours. And so she reached out to them about their virtual programs to see if they would host one for Kingman. And so she had already had that contact, but I think there's also it might not be saying this right, but the Sturensburg Museum offers programs as well. So I would just check with all the museums and see kind of what they offer.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
You've mentioned the Friends of the Library. It sounds like your friends group is really doing some great things to support your library. What can you tell us about that group? I assume they've been in action before you took on your role.
Sort of.
Okay.
So, from what I understand, we had a friends group that disbanded just before I got here, and then just after that, another group was like, hey, we'll start it up again. And so they were brand new with me. But they have been absolutely great. They ran a few book sales and things for us. And pretty much any time we bring a program to them and say, hey, will you help us with this? They're like, yes, that's what we're here for. Do you need volunteers? And so it's great to have their support.
Yeah, that sounds great. So do they have monthly meetings at the library? How do you kind of stay in contact? and making sure that you're both kind of working towards the same objective.
Yeah, they meet every other month at the library, and typically, uh, the youth services director and I meet with them and just either give them an update on things going on at the library or present programs or needs that we have. There was a bookmark contest last year during summer reading where the kids in different age groups all got to color a page, and then the winner we turned into an actual bookmark that they got and we give out at the library. And that was a huge hit. So we're
I
doing it
bet.
again next year. And
Cool.
that was a friends group idea.
Very neat. So, what kind of run of bookmarks should people plan on having printed out for a contest like that if they wanted to do it like you all are?
Um, I think they did 200 bookmarks. It was 100 for the younger kids
Hmm.
and 100 for the older kids. We had a teen section, but we didn't have any entries in that one,
Hmm.
so they didn't get bookmarks.
Gotcha. Well, and I know I just had 240 bookmarks printed, and they were one side UV coated full color on the other side, and it
Mhm.
cost us just about under $80. So not super expensive. So if in case anybody's interested in that, I'm sure we'd be happy to find more information.
Yeah, it was definitely less than $100. We used a print shop in Pratt, which is, I think, a bigger town than us and a little bit farther down the road.
Gotcha. Have they taken care of other printing stuff for you too?
Not so far, but we are
Gotcha.
planning on using them again. And if I have any other printing needs, they were who I plan to reach out to.
Right
So,
on. Any of these other groups you want to talk about? You kind of mentioned that your friends group is really good about finding people in your community to help out with programmings.
mhm.
I looked at your Facebook page and I saw, Citizens Bank lending in for some programming. One of the
Yeah.
local churches, you use their space, you mentioned. I see K-State Extension, which I think a lot of our public libraries know. What else can you tell us about partnerships?
We have a humane society here in Kingman, and we try and work with them a good bit. There is a weekly Read with Dogs program
Ah,
that we run. So they bring puppies or kittens or a different shelter dog into the library every week, and the kids get to pet them. They get to interact with children, and uh, the kids get to read to them as well. So it's helpful on a lot of fronts.
yeah, I
And
bet that's a popular program.
yeah, yeah. So they've been great to work with, and we're so excited when we reached out to them.
Yeah, for sure. People like their fur babies, especially at the library. It can make for a fun special day. Let's see here. You also, I'm trying to think about this development screening because that looked especially interesting from November. Can you tell us about what that program was like? Was that this group using the library space, or did you partner
That
beyond that?
that was just something that we would help advertise to parents for. It was an outside the library program, but we just help spread the word. So,
Gotcha. Great. Keeping those bonds strong.
mhm.
All right. Anything else about programming? Anything you know you're going to try in 2026 that you hadn't before or that we hadn't talked about?
So like I said, we're starting that 3D printing thing. And we also have a YA themed book club that we're starting, and our first meeting is tomorrow. So hopefully that goes well.
Yeah, hopes it does.
But that will be our second book club. And we're also purchasing adventure passes for people to use. So the Sedgwick County Zoo, Tanganyika, the Cosmosphere. The Cosmosphere gives out free passes. So any of the libraries don't want to spend money, ask the Cosmosphere and they will give you free ones. So will the Wichita Art Museum. So.
Great. I think I saw you posting about that on Can Libel and
Mhm.
before I reached out to you. So have you kind of figured out how that whole thing is going to work with the
Yeah,
adventure passes?
we're still developing a policy for it, but we've confirmed that we are getting these specific passes. Field Station Dinosaurs is another one, so we're
Appropriate for this year?
yeah, yeah, we're
Excellent.
excited to be able to offer those to our community.
Cool. Well, and I'm sure if people had questions about how that went, they could reach out to
Yeah,
you as well. Um, on that point, would you mind, as I switch to the next slide, maybe putting your contact information into the chat?
okay.
Because I could see people wanting to know more about that program as we get into summer reading. And then I was going to bring up our final slide. We always end the program if people are involved in professional memberships like Kansas Library Association or any of the ones that are a little bit broader. Um, and Lonnie mentioned that she is a member of KLA and she has been to at least, you said, two of our conferences, correct?
Yes. Yep. I started in September of 24 here in Kingman, and they paid for the KLA membership and sent me to Wichita in October. So that was my very first KLA meeting. I'm a little nervous around crowds, so I was the one hiding in the corner going, "This is so fun, but oh my goodness, people." Manhattan was a lot bigger, um, but I was more comfortable and I actually made friends
Oh,
and
good.
learned quite a bit. So it has been great being a member of KLA.
Great. So you got some ideas as well as meeting some folks?
Yes, yeah. One of the other librarians I met works at the Hutchison Public Library, which is about half an hour away, and he actually came to this library to run a creative writing class for me, and
Oh,
then
awesome.
shared some of his workbooks and stuff that he uses so that I can run it on my own now.
That is awesome. I love to hear about people being able to share other programs. It's something that's already kind of been tested and developed and handed it off. And I think
Yep.
that's one thing we're really pretty good about in libraries in Kansas libraries is um, helping each other out with those types of things. Well, we kind of have reached the final end of our 30 minutes. I appreciate you so much for, giving us all the ins and outs about the library. Anything that we didn't talk about that you thought we'd get to or that we skipped over too quickly?
Um, I think we covered everything on my end. I made
Okay,
myself a little bullet point cheat sheet.
good. Well, it served you well. Okay, well then we will leave it at that. Leilani slash Lonnie, I hope that we run into you. I know KLA will be happening right before Halloween, the conference. So we won't. Halloween falls on a Saturday this year. That's good news because that
Hmm.
always is help hurts people and they have to be away from their hometowns over that holiday. So I'm really looking forward to that coming up. So thank you all
Yeah.
for tuning in live. Thank you to all of you who are watching on YouTube. We'll see you all next month for another edition. Take care.
Thank you.
You bet. Talk to you later.